Future Hall of Famer, Torry Holt in studio.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame last night spit out their finalists.
Yeah.
Now you're a finalist again. This is what, the sixth, seventh
So
time?
this is my fourth time as a finalist, and it's my 10th nomination. I think it is 10 or 11.
Were you nervous at all about this part?
Yeah, every year I am.
Every year you're nervous.
Every year.
It's overdue. You know how I
Thank you.
feel about this.
No doubt.
I've been telling you this for, I don't know, since you first this became a reality.
Yeah.
What can you what at this point? What can you do? You used to use St. Louis writers.
Yeah.
Are you still? Is that still?
Yes. So
it's a weird process.
Yeah, it is a weird process. My presenter is Howard Balzer. He was
okay.
He was out in St. Louis when I was there. He covered me for a decade.
Right.
And now he's out in Arizona. And I think he's doing some work with Sports Illustrated and some other
long-time football writer.
Long-time football writer. And he's he does some work with SiriusXM with their NFL Hall of Fame channel as well. So but no, he has to go in and make the case, you know. And I told him, look, man, if you got to get naked, get up on the table.
I would get naked for you.
Whatever you got to do.
That would scare him.
Make it happen, man. But you know, he's working hard,
right,
in trying to put together the best case, you know, for me and the best argument. Look, I mean, there's so many great guys that are part of this class. So, and everyone is equally deserving.
Right.
But you know, I've waited a while. I felt like I played the game at a very high level for a long time, at a Hall of Fame level. Mm-hmm. Exceeded all expectations. I was a six overall draft pick in 1999 to the St. Louis Rams, and I think I exceeded all of those expectations of what a 6th-round draft pick or a sixth pick is supposed to do in the league. And so my work is done. So now it's up to the voters to continue to think over, mull over my career, and hopefully they get it right at some point, Adam.
We get I'm with you. If Howard ever needs help, I will be there to help.
No doubt.
Here's the thing about it. This is the weird part about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In other sports, there's just a voting panel, and they vote. In baseball, there's 400 some odd baseball writers, and they vote.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah.
You get 75% of the votes, you're in. But in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they ask you, all right, somebody has to argue on your behalf.
Yeah.
Right. You are constantly having somebody else make your case.
Yeah.
Would you rather make your own case?
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't mind making my own case. You know, certainly. It would be a little challenging because I don't do a lot of I don't talk about myself a lot and what I've accomplished in the game. But for this particular case,
this is your opportunity, because they're all listening right now.
For this particular case, certainly would go in, you know, hard for myself and what I've accomplished in this league, or what I accomplished in the league when I played for the 11 years that I played. You know, accumulated a lot of records, individual records, team records, team accomplishments, divisional titles.
This is the greatest show on turf.
World titles.
The whole team's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
So yeah,
seriously.
I'm you know, and I was the young guy out of all of those guys. You know, Marshall is in, Kurt's in, Orlando's in, Isaac is in, Coach Vermeil is now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, who drafted me. Mm-hmm. So he saw firsthand on what he was getting. And you know, I don't know if you all saw the piece last night on NFL Network, but Coach Vermeil talked about when he first laid eyes on me.
Right.
And then watching me in practice and watching me in games, he said they knew that they had something special, a special player. And it was really good to hear him echo those sentiments, that say those things about me, because a lot of times you don't hear the things that your teammates feel about you until after the fact.
Sure.
Because we're all competing and you're going through it, so we're alpha, so no one really gives that up. Now,
especially at your position, everybody's an alpha at your position.
No question. I mean, and you have to be. And when you play the receiver position, corner, any position in the National Football League, you have to feel like you're the guy. And I certainly felt like that. I didn't feel like I was a number 2 or number 3. I felt like I was a 1A from the time that I got drafted, and I went out and handled my business in that fashion.
So 8-year peak, 94 catches a year.
Yeah.
1,384 yards, almost 15 yards a catch, which is kind of unheard of today.
Yeah.
and 8 touchdowns. But there were so many. I mean, there was only so many balls to go around.
Yeah.
Because Marshall Faulk was not only good running, but he was a great receiver.
Yep.
Isaac Bruce, who just went in a couple years
Correct.
ago, right? So yeah,
Ricky Prohl, Azakim,
Right.
all our tight ends. I mean, there was a lot of guys on that team that was asking for the ball.
Was ridiculous.
So when I was playing at him, when
was there a salary cap? What was that? How did that happen?
Right, it worked out. It worked out well. when I was playing, and I knew when I got my opportunity, I had to make the most of the opportunity because there was other guys that they can go to. There was other guys that Coach Martz can throw the ball to, and I think for the most part, I did that every single opportunity I played.
The position, though, is so loaded. It seems like every year, wide receivers, you look at the wide receivers in the ballot and go like, well, that guy's a Hall of Fame.
Right.
They're all Hall of Famers. Andre Johnson's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Reggie Wayne's a Hall of Famer. Yep. Those are the 2 wide receivers on the ballot with you. You should all go in. Maybe we should just have a wide receiver.
It'd be great.
All the wide receivers go in.
Just get it out of the way.
It's because the game became such a pass-happy league at that point that, I mean, it's all you guys stood out. You guys will all eventually get in, but it's a crowded ballot. I see Darrelle Revis is on the ballot.
Darrelle Revis.
Did you guys ever square off?
I caught Darrelle in the latter part of my career. I was those high moments of my career were kind of coming towards the end. But watching Darrelle, he was a man on the island that could lock down your star receiver. Played. I mean, he was a excellent tackler.
Yeah.
Really good in the punt return game. Again, solid on the corner, can match up with your best players. So again, another guy that's very well deserving. But you talk about the wide receiver backlog, then you after our group, you got Fitzgerald and you got Anquan Bolden, you got Steve Smith, and I mean the list goes. Hines Ward. Heck, I can't even forget my coach who coached me, Henry Ellard.
Wow.
Who's been on the ballot?
The Rams have had some wide receivers.
The Rams' history of the history of our organization at the wide receiver position is very, very strong and very, very deep.
It's crazy.
And I'm just an extension of that. I'm an extension of that. So very, very thankful to be in this position, just waiting to get that knock, bro.
That's right. You have to go to the hotel. Now, this happens this Saturday before the Super Bowl, right?
It does. Right? It does. So, you're typically in your hotel.
So if you weren't going to go to the Super Bowl, you have to now.
Yeah, exactly. And with me working with the NFL Legends community, I've been working with the NFL Legends community, supporting our current and former players that played. I've been now working with them this is my 6th year. Mm-hmm. So I've been going to the Super Bowl for the last 6 years on behalf of the Legends community. So I would have been there.
Okay, you get there anyway.
But now I'm there for the Legends. Now I'm there for the Hall. I'm there for appearances, et cetera, et cetera. So it's good, man. It's good to be involved in the game. But, this is the pinnacle of your career if you're inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I get a chance to share with my son and my girls. Last night we sat down for the first time. I sat down with them and actually went through – the NFL Network had a special. Right. And I was part of the Hall of Fame special, and I actually sat down and went through each catch with my kids.
Oh, no.
Explaining to them the mindset that I was in during that particular time, during that particular highlight.
Right.
And it was really fascinating. It was really fun to be able to have that exercise with them and to really share with them my passion, my mentality of what it took for me to play and to be now a Hall of Fame finalist.
That's and this
really
is
cool.
Say the fourth time you've been that.
Yes.
Hopefully it'll be the last
Please.
time, and I don't mean it in that you know how I mean it.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this because I know you spent some time in Europe this year, right?
I did.
So did you also go to Germany, or were you?
No, I was just in London.
Just in London.
Yeah.
All right. How is the NFL game consumed by Londoners? I know there's a lot of Americans living over there.
Yeah.
Is it a big deal?
It is.
I know it's a big deal in Germany too, but
yeah.
So what was your experience like in London?
Incredible experience. I was over there working with Sky Sports, and I was covering. We had our Sunday shows. Had a podcast every week.
Mm-hmm.
We had a highlight show every single week, highlighting each week. So I was over there from week 5 to 8.
Okay.
Incredible experience. The fans come from everywhere in the UK, everywhere.
Right.
To get to an NFL game, and you see every jersey, every player represented over there, which is really cool. The love that they show American football players that come over is just outstanding. The love that I got, great restaurants I ate at. Had an opportunity to go over to Paris for a week and come back, and I came back on the Sunday that it was the Jaguars, and I forgot who it was they were playing, and to see all of the fans in the airport coming from Italy, coming from all over the world, from over here to come to London to a game was phenomenal to see, and not only that, their education on American football is phenomenal too. They know about the sport, they know about the players, the rules, etc. And they're bought in, they're all in, man.
It's the best league in the world for American football.
Yeah,
their football league, the Premier League, is the best league in the world for soccer.
That's right.
Did you get a chance to catch any?
I didn't go
I
didn't go in any games, but it was on TV every day.
Oh, it's
so
ridiculous.
I watched it every day. It's mad. But I was telling my family and my kids and everybody, it's the best soccer that I've ever seen in my life.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The things that they do with the ball, the strategy, the skills. It's the coaching. It is unbelievable to watch that type of soccer, and I had an opportunity to see it every single day.
Here's the funny thing, and Torry Holt's in studio with us, because there are 94 professional football teams, football clubs, they're called clubs, right?
Yep.
In the English Football League, in their system, in the top 4 levels of football, in either England or Wales.
Wow.
There are 94.
Wow.
In London, there are 17. 7 of them right now are playing in the Premier League, so in the top 20. Could you imagine? London's not that big.
No.
Could you imagine 7 NFL teams calling New York? Could you imagine
That'd be crazy. It'd be crazy.
But
man.
that's what it is.
Yeah. And they are like the pubs there are incredible because everybody's there.
Right.
They're hanging out. They got a paint. And they're talking and they're watching their favorite team. And everybody there is represented. You mentioned the 7 teams. Those 7 teams are represented in those pubs.
Yep.
And there's pubs throughout the city, everywhere you go in London. So that was really cool to have interaction with the fans about the Premier Leagues and the soccer over there. And then them asking me questions about American football and everything. It's just it's a really cool dynamic, man. And it's a great deal of collaboration that's happening with the folks over in London in regards to their participation with the NFL, and then vice versa. The NFL is giving them everything that they can to make sure that the game stays healthy and the game stays appreciated and the fans are showing love over there.
Do you think they could have a franchise of their own in London?
And we talk about player safety in the National Football League. It'll be too much. The travel and the time is just too much.
Right.
It'd be ridiculous. So no, I don't think it would happen.
Yes.
I think the way that it's set up now, Adam, is perfect.
Right.
Now, if they want to add on more games, I think right now we're playing 4 games over there. Maybe 5 games.
I thought you meant more games to the regular season.
No.
We can't do that.
If they want to add more games over in the UK, in Germany and whatnot, I get that. I think that will work. But an actual team in London and Germany, no, I don't think that'll work.
It would put that team at a major disadvantage to get players, right? I mean, they don't really want to go because the careers are not very long.
Yep.
So
I think guys in the National Football like the notion of traveling over there to play a game but returning back to the States. I think they're totally fine. And that's no knock on the UK.
No, not at all.
No knock on London. But I think that's what the guys feel more comfortable with doing.
What about other countries? Germany, they finally got into Germany.
And they rocked out in Germany.
Germany loves, as you know, you were too good to ever play in the World League of, was it the NFL Europe, right?
NFL Europe, yeah.
But Steve Logan coached there.
Yeah.
And Germany loves American football.
They love it, man.
Yeah.
Like it was, they rolled it when Tampa went over there to play. That game was rolled out Super Bowl like. Mm-hmm. Fans were everywhere, tailgate. It was incredible. People came in droves to get to that game in Germany, and then it was a good game. Tom Brady played in that game, but
it's 1 in 5 countries.
They love NFL football, right? They love NFL football there, bro.
He has legitimately won a game in 5 countries.
Yeah, this dude, and that go to show you how long he's played and how good he really is. Boy's good, man.
There's no question. All right, couple of things about this particular year, and then I'm going to ask you. Actually, let me do this first, so I don't run out of time with Torry Holt. What was going through your head Monday?
Oh man, that was rough. That was rough. I barely slept that night, and just playing all kinds of scenarios in my head of what Hamlin must have felt like, and then his teammates, the Bills as well as the Bengals. It was a tough night. It really was. And then I had to get up the next morning because I'm on Sirius XM NFL Radio every Tuesday morning from 7 to 10, myself and Solomon Wilcox on Channel 88. You guys get an opportunity to check us out.
Oh, wait a second. So I was listening Tuesday morning, but I only heard Solomon. I heard him talking about kind of blasting the NFL for being like unsure about what was going to happen week 18. I listened to him talk. I didn't realize you were there.
Yeah, I was on Tuesday morning.
I got to where I was going, and
we were on at we were on at 6 o'clock that morning, and we stayed on to 10 o'clock. So 4 straight hours talking about Damar Hamlin in that situation. It was probably and I've been around radio and done radio for years. It's probably one of the toughest.
Oh, I'm sure.
Toughest days of my radio career.
You did radio here for a while.
Yeah, exactly. And to go on there and to talk about that situation for 4 straight hours, it was really tough. But I was really, but I will say this, and I applaud the medical staffs.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud the medical staffs, and for all of those our fans that follow the game, let's give a round of applause and let's give an appreciation to the medical staffs and the trainers for the job that they have to do. When they got to the young man had no pulse,
right,
and immediately they kicked in the action, the action plan. And I said on the radio show, we as football players, we practice and we watch tape and we train and we run and we watch our bodies and we do everything at an elite level and a very high. The concentration level is at a very high level. The trainers do the same thing. Mm-hmm. They practice, they go through the exercises, they get ready for moments like this. And when it was time for them to act, they acted really quickly and very responsibly. And that's why, because they did that, that's why Damar Hamlin still has life, still has an opportunity to fight for his life and to recover. So shouts out to all of our trainers that are listening now. And if you have aspirations to be a trainer, thank you for the job.
Just to put a postscript on that, the latest news is he woke up last night, opened his eyes last night.
Yep.
He is responsive.
Yep.
I didn't see in the story where they brought him out of the coma, but I'm guessing they did because his eyes are open.
Yep.
They still don't know about the full return to his cognitive abilities, but we'll find that out over the next few days. But he's responsive.
Oh man,
and that's very good.
I'm so happy, and I'm glad that my NFL brothers can hear that news, because it's going to be very challenging for them going forward here the next couple of days to try to get themselves in the mental space to play our game, Adam. It's a very physical game, as we all know, but the mentality that you have, the sharpness that you have, the attention to detail that you have to have, the awareness that you have to play this game.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't know if they're there. But hearing the good news about Damar Hamlin day to day, guys can slowly get there. And I said, too, on the radio show, the National Football League, the owners, the fans, the players, they have to give each other the grace that they need to get to that space to resume football.
We see bad injuries, sometimes catastrophic injuries, spinal injuries. We see that the spinal injuries, not routinely, but we see big injuries routinely in the NFL. And the guys are expected, and they expected of each other, to set that aside and go back and continue the game.
Right.
It was pretty obvious watching Monday night that there was no chance to continue that game. It took a while. I have no idea how the process worked, and I said this on Tuesday. I'm not going to criticize the NFL because I don't know how the whole thing worked.
Right. It's a lot of moving parts that were happening when that happened.
But I knew those guys can't play.
Yep.
Not either team.
And typically we're callous to any situation that we see, because we deal with a lot. We see a lot. And normally you stop play, you move the ball up, trainers get to the player, make sure that he's okay, and we resume. But this was different.
Yeah.
He wasn't moving.
Right. He wasn't breathing at one point.
Wasn't breathing at one point. And the guys were visually seeing that. The trauma from that in itself is something that the league, the players, the coaches, owners have to consider as they work up a plan to resume playing again. To perform CPR, and I think they brought out a defibrillator, I think is what it's called.
paddles.
You kidding?
They needed
right.
paddles.
Are you kidding?
Yep.
And his teammates are watching that. It was no way in the world could the players go back and play. Nor, as Sean McDermott said to Coach Taylor, I have to go be by my player's side.
Yeah.
There was no way that he could put himself into space to go back out and to coach, to call a blitz or
forget it.
Forget it.
No chance.
It was all the attention immediately turned to the well-being of Damar Hamlin, and it should have been.
Right. And his physical well-being, and then the emotional and mental well-being of all the players that had to also deal with that. Because it's obviously it's not the same, but it is still dealing with a traumatic event. And you could just tell on the faces of those guys.
Because football went out the window. It was now a human being.
Yep.
It was now Damar Hamlin, the man, was fighting for his life. So for the players, that football or anything regarding football totally went out the window. It was about prayers.
Yep.
You saw the tears. You saw the emotion of the guys just hoping that he was going to be okay.
Yeah, there were players, just crying on the field.
Oh, my goodness. And the stadium was, and I talked to Solomon Wilcox, who was my co-host, who was there, and he said the stadium came to a complete hush.
Mm-hmm.
It was just quiet.
Yep.
And everyone was, again, just praying and focused on hoping that Damar Hamlin, was going to be okay.
All right, well, certainly the early news is promising. Week 18 is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know how it'll be easier now that we're seeing some really good news. It'll be easier now for those players to get back to the business of playing. So week 18 will happen. We'll see what kind of preparation, all that, how that was impacted. Are they going to get back and play? Finish the Bengals and the Bills?
I don't think that game happens. I don't. There's so much. There's so many bad memories if they step back out on that football field that's going to come up again regarding to what they just saw.
Sure.
So I don't think you revisit that game again. The league has a difficult decisions to make on how Week 18 moves forward as well as the playoffs. And I think everybody should understand that and give them the grace and give them the respect to make whatever decision that is, being what we just saw on Monday night. But I don't think they revisit that Bengals game. I think that's over and done with.
Yeah, maybe it'll work itself out in Week 18, and there are results in Week 18 that would make that game unnecessary.
True.
To get back and play. But I asked this trivia question yesterday. Do you know how many games the NFL has canceled since World War II for non-strike purposes?
0?
That's the correct answer. None. With 2 years of COVID issues, they all of those games got played. All of them got played.
Yeah.
So they played when the towers were attacked and the Pentagon.
Yeah, I was in the league then.
Okay, they played that at the end of the season.
That following Sunday,
right?
Yeah.
Right. They took that Sunday off, but they played the next Sunday, and the games that were wiped out, they just tacked on to the end of the season.
Yeah.
So
this
would be a first.
It will be, and they, there's all kinds of scenarios we've been hearing all morning long. So again, Troy Vincent, Roger Goodell, the owners, they got some real decisions that they have to make, but we have to be, whatever decision is made, some folks will be happy about it, some won't.
I would say that nobody should be unhappy about it.
But you should, right.
Right.
You should be happy with whatever decision they come up with, again, being after watching what we watched on Monday night, and and Troy Vincent, who will play a major role in whatever decision comes about. He played.
Yeah.
So
he was a good player too.
He was a heck of a player. I played against him. Big, strong, physical, could run. So you got to believe that he has his player's hat on while also trying to make the decision. But ultimately, it's got to be in the best interest of our players.
Yep.
Because our players drive our league. And it's got to be in the best interest of our players.
Yeah, I talk a lot about the fact that for a $15 billion industry and the most popular league maybe in the world, to be honest. I don't know if it's probably Premier League. But,
the Premier League.
In American sports, there's nothing that comes close to the NFL.
No doubt.
The fact, and there's really no way around it, you guys have the worst collective bargaining agreement in the sport. And I wish there was a way to make that different.
Yeah.
But there just isn't. All right, before I let you go, because I know you got to go, and we have things to do too. Let me ask you this: we haven't really talked about games. Who's the best team in the NFC?
Right now, I would say the San Francisco 49ers.
Give me a healthy Jalen Hurts on Philadelphia. Is it still the San Francisco 49ers?
For me, right now, it is.
Okay.
I think the Eagles are wounded in areas, for sure.
Okay.
And the San Francisco 49ers are pretty solid. They got a really, really good defense. Their defense has not wavered. Their defense hasn't fell off. The Eagles, in certain aspects of their defense, has. They don't have the same secondary.
You can run on them.
You can run the football on them. Offensive line, missing Lane Johnson and some other guys are kind of up in the air, and you kind of saw some of that last weekend. San Francisco 49ers are pretty solid up front, both offensively and defensively. Their secondary is very talented. They get turnovers. Brock Purdy is playing out of his mind. Christian McCaffrey is a stud.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. They got wide receivers. They got their tight end now over the last 4 weeks has come alive. Yeah. George Kittle. To me, the San Francisco 49ers have the type of squad and mentality to play at home and go on the road.
Yeah, no question. And in the AFC, who is it?
Wow. AFC, for me, I've been talking about this football team, and we was going to see more of them Monday night, but we didn't. Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
Football team that's young, talented, defense is playing out of his mind.
Yep.
Joe Burrows is phenomenal. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They got a ton of guys that have championship pedigree on their team from their college ranks, their high school ranks.
Sure. That
spilled over into the National Football League, and they're not scared. And they're not scared because they got a quarterback in Joe Burrows who will stand down the barrel with anyone.
He's amazing.
Anywhere.
It's funny. He transferred to LSU and really only had one great year.
Yeah.
And people, it's probably a flash. No.
He's good. His mentality and the way that he sees the game, the way he goes about the game, you can just listen to him in his pressers. This guy's locked in. Mm-hmm. For a young player, he is locked in. He understands the importance of winning. He understands the type of legacy that he can lead. And he's all about it. And he's got guys around him. He's got a coaching staff. He's got players around him that have the same mentality. It reminds me of when I was in St. Louis. We had guys with a Hall of Fame. We didn't know it at the time, but we had that kind of mentality, that professional mentality, that competitive mentality to go out and get it done. And Joe Burrow right now, stud, man. I know Patrick Mahomes is outstanding, and they'll be there. Josh Allen and the Bills and other teams in the AFC will be there, but I like what the Cincinnati Bengals mentality as well as the San Francisco 49ers. I like those two teams' mentalities right now.
Well, if they meet in the Super Bowl, it'll be 3 times that those two teams have met.
No doubt.
In a Super Bowl.
And it will be a good one.
Oh, and there's no question about it. Torry Holt, future Pro Football Hall of Famer. I hope it's Saturday. I hope it's the Saturday of Super Bowl weekend.
Man. And look, and thanks to everyone out there that's sent me direct messages, that's tweeted out to me. Thank you for the love.
All hands now on Twitter?
All hands now on Twitter.
Okay.
That was one of the things when we was watching the clips last night. I was like, what is one of the common things that y'all see your dad was doing? My daughter's, you caught the ball.
Yeah.
I caught the ball with my hands.
Right.
Every single for the most part, every single time. So all hands. Some folks still call me Big Game, but thanks to everyone that showed me love throughout this process. I greatly appreciate it. And go Wolfpack, man. We had a big win last night over the Dukies.
Amazing. That was a great night.
They shot 49% from the field. 40-some over 40.
Were you at the game?
We were at the game.
Oh, man.
40-some% from the threes. We had amazing seats thanks to Coach Keats. Had amazing seats. And we watched our Wolfpack, man, play really good basketball. If they can play that level of ball consistently, they'll be in every game. They'll compete and be
no question.
In every game. But a good win by the Wolfpack last night. The Dukies, man, it's not the same Dukies I've seen.
They got a lot of great players.
They
but
do.
What they don't have, they're not a quick team at this point.
They're not.
So.
My son broke it down to me. He was like, Dad, they got 3, was it 3, Bray? Top 10 players in high school that was in high school ball came over. I didn't see a lot of that last night.
Nope.
And typically you see Duke's high profile players really doing it. I didn't see a lot of that last night.
Derek Whitehead is the number one guy. And
he can
we're
shoot.
number two. And he played well last night.
He did it.
But there's another
They need
level
some more.
for him.
Yeah.
For him, there's
No doubt.
another level that he
And
has to get
he's
to.
built really well. I was impressed by
Solid.
how he's very solid.
He's very
so go
solid.
Pat.
All right, yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, man. Always for having
That
me.
is Torry Holt. He's going to go in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, hopefully, the Saturday of Super Bowl weekend. Yeah, exactly.